Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Janice Carter, and guess who's coming to dinner? What you say? Today, I'm very excited. You see, I'm very French today because France is probably a very artistic country. And talking about the arts, the opera, the sculptors, the painters, the great painters of our century. But aside from all that going on over in Paris, I had to put my close to a beret as I could find. This was my Paris hat when I lived there. And so I put on my Picasso scarf that I gave to my mother because today, you hear me, Louisville, and the rest of the world, today we have the world-renowned artist, sculptor, Mr. Ed Hamilton. What's up, my brother?
Sister, how are you? Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir, monsieur. I'm so honored to have you, Ed. You know, you've always been just down to earth. So I just want to say welcome to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. How you doing, sweetheart?
Doing great, baby. I'm doing fine. Can't complain. God is
What's
good.
going on in your world right now? What you got going on?
It's busy. I've got 3 projects I'm working on.
Okay.
One project will be coming to fruition in October. A major piece down in Charlotte, North Carolina. The late, great Julius Chambers are doing a full-size figure of him that goes what they call the Trail of History. And you walk the trail downtown, and they're noted figures that you will encounter in bronze that's associated with Charlotte. And he's going to be one of them that you will encounter. Then I'm actually working right now. Currently, I'm doing a bust and will be a life-size figure of the late, great David Jones who was the Humana, who started Humana.
Right. Okay.
Yes. And then in Dayton, Ohio, my birthplace of birth, well, I was actually born in Cincinnati, but my birth mother, that's where she resided in Dayton, Ohio. And I'm doing a memorial for the late Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Oh, have mercy. Wow.
Dayton, Ohio. That's where I'm at right now. And, you know, as I said, it's just a busy time right now. And that's a good thing.
That's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. I know you've got a lot of works from when you started, and I saw the piece when you used to walk past the art shop and the man invited you to come in. You know,
yes.
How you got started. I said that was very interesting. How you were just fixated on it, you know. And he saw something in you and said, "Come on in here, youngster." Tell that story, Ed.
Well, there was a clay ceramic shop right next to Barney's studio. Actually, it was in the same building, but a wall separated the ceramic shop and his studio.
Okay.
Now, been following Barney for quite some time while I was in art school, when I got out of art school. And I knew where his studio was, but I never took the opportunity to go and visit or knock on the door. Well, this one particular day, late April, I believe, back in 1973, I was teaching ceramics and sculpture at Iroquois High School. So I took off for half a day to get some supplies. And the ceramic shop, King Ceramic Shop, that's where I bought clay for school. So as I went in there, and the late Daniel King, who owned that shop, loved to talk art, loved to talk worldly stuff. So you just couldn't go in, buy something and leave. You know, he'd get you cornered in a conversation, which was good, because here's what happened. We were standing there, I'm standing there talking, and all of a sudden I looked at my watch. I said, "Oh, Daniel, I got to get out of here. I got to get back to school." So I loaded up the car, and I was parked right in front of the building. And that was Barney's studio. I could see his front door. You couldn't see inside because the frosted glass on his door, you couldn't see inside. But I knew that's where he was. And so I loaded up my car. I got inside the car and I sat there and I looked over at his door and I said, man, why don't you go knock on the door? Well, something, I couldn't make myself do it. And now, remember, this was the 70s, the Superfly era. I had a beautiful afro, baby. Oh, I had this afro that if I leaned one way, it would go, oh, or I leaned the other way.
It leaned with you, huh?
Look.
You had nice movement.
Yeah, big shirt collars on, shirt on, my bell bottom. Oh, I was clean. But so I sat there just for a half another minute or two, and all of a sudden I started to turn the key in the ignition. Don't you know, God, girl, intervene.
All right.
His front door opened. He came out to check his mailbox on the side of the building. You know what happened? I immediately got my butt.
You hurry up and got out that car.
I got over there very carefully. Didn't want to scare the man.
Yeah.
Here's this brother do something to me.
Yeah.
I got very careful. I'm Ed Hamilton, and I've followed your works for years. I've seen it all over, and I guess I said, could I see your studio or something like that? But I do remember this. This is what he said. Sure, come on in. Girl, I crossed that threshold, my whole life changed.
Wow.
Whole life
changed.
That's when he offered me a position to work with him because he found out that I'd gone to the same school that he taught out at the university. It was the Art Center school at the time.
Okay.
And he taught classes out there. Now, what happened was he saw a piece on a two by two stone limestone block. Now, as an advanced sculptor student back in the day, we would put something out there. We would make something and put it on the block. It'd stay up about a couple of weeks. Another student would come and do it again. Wait a minute. I saw a piece out there on this block, and I said, "Oh, you did?" I said, "Well, what was it?" He said, "Well, it was this figurative piece, and it was kind of distorted, and the guy, his head was kind of down like this, and his arm was going this way." Well, you know what it was? I was into Rodin's work, Rodin out of Paris.
Okay,
France.
right.
This was a takeoff of his Adam piece that he had on his Gates of Hell at the top.
Okay.
And him did a piece called Adam and Eve, but I took the Adam piece and kind of formatted it in my own style. And he said, I saw that. I said, that was my piece. He said, well, I'll be daggone. So anyway, we were talking, and he said, I got a project coming up. And he said, I'm going to need some help. And I said, Mr. Bright, I'm ready. I couldn't wait to get home and tell Bernadette. I said, baby, look, you ain't going to believe this. I met Barney Bright, and he done offered me an apprenticeship. I don't think I'll be going back to school next year. And I didn't.
Hello. I didn't even know that you had taught school here.
Oh, yeah, I taught school here. Yeah, I taught at Iroquois High School for 3 years.
Okay.
And was a mortgage professor out of University of Louisville back in 2010. Taught the public art class out there.
Wow.
And so, always trying to teach somebody something, as I'm trying to learn all. You never stop learning.
But you also have to share your gifts.
But you got to share the gift. That's right.
You got to share your gifts. I heard you say something on a piece where you were interviewed. Well, it was the Black History piece that they were doing, that they ran last year, where you talked about that we're kind of here, Ed, to help one another.
That's right. That's right.
And that's something that I say I talk about on this show, is that that's what we need to do more of, and make it be like our standout piece in order to be a compassionate city. You can't be compassionate if you don't help other people.
No, that's right. No, you just can't walk by and just be.
You can't be high and mighty and don't help nobody.
I always told my wife, she became a teacher years ago. She retired from the Board of Education as the Option Magnet and Advanced Program Director. But she started in the classroom. And when she started in the class, I said, babe, don't forget this. Remember one thing. I don't care how high you go. I don't care if you're a teacher, the principal, the counselor, or whatever. Why do people come and work at a school in maintenance? They empty your trash, they
Right.
clean up your room.
Right.
So you treat these people just like you treat other
Anybody
higher
else?
up.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Because they're just as important as everybody else is.
It is. Absolutely.
Y'all,
You know,
y'all
I
got
tell people,
don't play it together. It's pretty much over at that point. You know?
right, help each other. And if
Help
we do
somebody.
that, huh?
Yeah. We're bigger for it, baby. We're bigger for it.
We're bigger for it. We're better for it. So, Ed, I'm excited now. So, you ready to show us around the studio?
Here we go. Let's go do York right now.
Wow.
There's York. There's York. He's down on the Louisville Belvedere, 5th and Main Street. There you go. Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
All right now. There you go.
Now,
that's beautiful.
Here's Brother Lincoln down at Waterfront Park. Here's a plaster version of his big head. You see it?
Yes. Yes. What you say, Ed, is big head.
That boy got a big head. Here's Martin Luther King. Here's Martin Luther King in Newport News, Virginia.
Oh, wow. All right.
And here's
you know,
what it looks like. It's what he looks like. It's a big life size coming out of a wall with figures walking.
Right. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful piece, Ed. Well, everything you've done is spectacular.
Here was an article that was based on the Spirit of Freedom that came out when we did the Spirit of Freedom in D.C. And here's the actual model of it.
Okay. So now, at this point, Ed, I'm going to tell you, I told you I have a family connection to your Civil War monument in D.C. That two of my great, so they were my mother's uncles, so they were my great uncles, were in the Civil War, and their names are on the monument.
Yes, on the wall.
On the wall. And I went and put my fingers next to it for a family reunion and had a picture and blew it up that two of my uncles' names was on the wall with that monument. Gorgeous. Oh, that's fabulous.
It's 3 infantry guys and a sailor. There's the 3 soldiers and the sailor on the wheelhouse.
Okay. All right.
Of course, you got family in the back.
Well, what we did, we took pictures. We were at my family reunion. We sat inside there and took pictures.
Now, here is young Ed. This is where it all started, baby. Right here at Shawnee.
Look at you.
Shawnee Junior High School. I'm in the yearbook as Mr. Friendly.
Mr. Friendly. Look, I went to Shawnee Junior High School, Ed.
I'm in Shawnee High School. This is Shawnee.
I went to both of them.
You did? Yeah, I went to Parkland Junior High, and then I was Shawnee High. Now, you see that white image right there? I'm coming to get close up on it. I want to show you something because this is important right here.
Okay.
You see, I'm standing in the class. I'm standing in the art classroom.
Okay.
And there's a figure that you see kind of by my hand. Let me show you this, right? And this documents it. That was 1965. No, 1960. Hold on now. Here it is. My very first clay piece that I did at Shawnee High School.
You did it for the school?
I did it in art school. In high school. See that figure?
In your art class?
Yeah, art class. Yeah, that's a original clay Mama put on her mantelpiece that I grew up with when I graduated from high school, and she said, "Don't touch that piece." That was on the mantelpiece until the day she died, and I had to liquidate her estate, and I brought it up here, and it's right here. And so this could be the precursor of how I became a sculptor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was doing that type of work back then. It's in
Wow.
a, might be hard to see because it's in a glass door.
No, I can see it. Everybody else will be able to see it too. Wow. Say that's the beginning, huh?
That's the
That's the
beginning of my
precursor to your fame and
yeah.
fortune.
That's the small model of the Martin Luther King marquette that was enlarged for Newport News, Virginia, right there. That's a plaster. Yes. Now let's see what else we got. You remember the late G. Calaman Cox, who was the dean of black art here in Louisville? That's him right there. We pay homage to GC because GC taught everybody. And he had no problem of sharing his works and his talent with all the people. And he was one of the original members of the old Louisville Art Workshop that I discovered when I got out of art school. And that's how I got my education from Bob Douglas and G.C. Cox and the late Fred Bond and all the major artists that left town like Sam Gilliam, Bubba Thompson. We all have been touched by these guys.
Okay.
And here's the late Judge McNulty. That's in bronze. This is a plaster version of his bust, but he's in full regatta in bronze in the lobby before you walk into the Supreme Court room in Frankfort, Kentucky. Now, I mentioned Barney Bright. Here's Barney Bright.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's Barney Bright. And
man, it opened the door, huh?
Yeah, this is the man that opened the door for me.
Show us the one that the other Louisvillians, the Lenny Lyles. You said you had the.
Oh, yeah. Lenny. Here's Lenny. This is the model for the Lenny Lyles runner out at University of Louisville. It formerly was Cardinal Park, but now it's Owsley Brown Frazier Park.
Okay.
And I did him. Actually, Owsley Brown Frazier, who was part of Brown and Foreman, and he's the one that commissioned to do the large version, a 7-foot version of this runner as Lenny Lyles out at the Cardinal Park.
Wow.
Here's, Joe Louis for the city of Detroit.
All right. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Brown bomber. Now, I didn't do him like this. I've got him in a pugilistic pose as a boxer, but this was a study of his figure that I did prior to making him. And when I walk through that front door, here you'll be able to see the actual glove off of the main figure that's in Detroit at Cobo Hall.
At Cobo Hall, okay. I lived in Detroit for 6 months 1 year.
It's the big left-hand boxing glove.
He was a southpaw?
No. This is just off the figure that I made.
Off the figure, okay.
Off the big boxing glove, off the figure itself. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And so,
man, have you got works in that studio?
There's the Amistad head back there, Joseph Sinkay, aka Sinbay PA of the Amistad Memorial.
Okay.
Let me show you that's him back there. That back right there. See him right there? Right there. That's Joseph Sinkay. But here is the Amistad. Hold on. Oh, here's my very first public piece. Booker T. Washington, the Hampton Institute. Look how little I was, girl. And that's that's at Hampton University in bronze. Then after I did Booker T, here's Joe Louis.
Okay.
Let me work the big version of him right there. See that?
Yeah.
This looks like in Cobo Hall.
Oh, that's the statue at Cobo Hall.
Statue at Cobo Hall.
Oh, wow.
12 foot high bronze statue.
Wow.
In the lobby of Cobo Hall. Now, then we do the Amistad next. Here's your Amistad Memorial. Here I'm working on clay. I'm working on the actual clay version. Where is that down further? There. See me working right there. In the studio. Once it's cast in bronze, this is one side. It's a 3-sided piece. and that's the courtroom trial side. And then here's the front side of the whole thing there.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Ed, your
Right,
work is just spectacular.
right in front of City Hall in downtown New Haven, Connecticut. And then, of course, you've seen the Spirit of Freedom. And that's the
Yes. Yes.
for the freedom. And then, obviously, York again. Our man York. Everybody loves York because he was
Oh,
such
yes. Absolutely.
yes, yes. So that's
So we talked earlier about one more piece that you can maybe we zoom in on before we kind of close it down. The box Muhammad Ali's
the box.
Smoketown.
This was the model of the Smoketown Monument. Let me see if I can get that to you without messing up anything.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you see that?
Oh, there it is. We see it. We see it. So the boxing gloves are together like, and they make a heart.
Yeah. Like it made a heart. Yeah, the two gloves together, but the two thumbs created like a scene of heart. And how that happened was when the late Zephyr May Miller, called the bag lady of Louisville, called me and said, "Ed, we got to do something because they getting ready to do something over in Smoketown." I said, "What you talking about, baby? They want to put a monument up, but I don't like what they putting up. I got an idea." And she handed me a drawing on a brown piece of paper. And I said, "Okay, babe, go." I mean, a brown bag. That's what it was. And I said, "Okay, babe, let me play with it and see what we can come up with." And so I kept sitting there looking at this drawing. All she did was drew an outline of a boxing glove. And I said, "Okay." So I played with it, and then all of a sudden, I just drew two transverse together, and that's what started the whole idea of dealing with the aspect of putting two gloves together to create that. And so
Okay.
we took that over to the meeting over in Smoketown at the Presbyterian Community Center,
Right.
and everybody there waiting on to see what we came up with. And then what ended up happening was we presented it. A young man came around the conference table. Everybody was sitting around the conference table, and people were standing around the walls. And the little young man came back behind the conference table, behind the people, came at the end of one of the edges of the conference table because I set the piece in the middle of the conference table.
Okay.
And he got down on one knee and he looked at it like this. And he said, "You know what? That looks like a heart." Boom.
Boom. There you go.
And
Yeah.
the people said, "Heart of the community."
Mm.
That sealed the deal, baby.
Drop the mic. Wow. Well, you've been interviewed all over the world, and your work is all over the world. I put on the opening for this show is Ed's Louisville. I put Louisville's Ed. You know, like you belong to us. But I thank you for letting us come into your world and telling some more about your story and your history that some of us may not know.
That's right.
You know,
I grew up,
but
I grew up part of the Black community at 6th and Walnut Street. My dad
exactly.
was a tailor, was a barber, so that's where I
Okay.
grew up.
Well, I was born in Beecher Terrace.
Yeah, down the street. I loved it, baby. I cannot. I come from two families.
Okay.
Because I didn't know that I had been adopted.
Okay.
And my mom and daddy that raised me, I thought they were blood. We looked alike. I guess they picked somebody that looked like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was I found my birth mother and found out that I had two brothers and two sisters, girl.
Oh,
Ain't that something?
wow. Yes.
And we had a good 13 years of her. We found her.
Oh, that's
there,
beautiful.
it was just beautiful. So I've had two families.
Right.
The one that raised me and the one that let me go but was found again. And she was so.
So you had a full circle completion twice.
Yes. Yes.
With two families.
My birth mother always said, when when she had to let me go, and she was
Right.
15 years old.
Right.
And when we found each other, she said, there was always a dream that I had. And I was always, these babies were revolving around my head, and I was trying to catch this baby. And I guess she was trying to catch the one she gave away. You understand?
Right.
Isn't that metaphor, for thinking maybe one day he'll find me. And that's what I did.
She was sending you that energy, Ed.
Yeah.
In that dream, that was the synergy she was trying to, for you to even want to find her. See, because some kids don't want to find her.
That's right. And that was fortunate, because she could have said, no, I don't want, I don't want.
Yeah. But that's her subconscious and her heart. Tell me that one more thing.
One more thing. She was in Detroit. She was a Mary Kay salesman.
Okay.
They were at the Cobo Hall where Joe Louis was standing. Check this out. She and her girls' friends were visiting the Cobo Hall lobby there, and there stood Joe Louis. And she admired that. And then when we discovered each other, and I was telling her what I did, and I sent her pictures of my works, and she saw that Joe Louis. She said, "Oh my God, why didn't it say something? Why didn't it?"
Yeah.
Tell me. You know what I mean? I said,
because Joe Louis was the biggest thing about it. The what?
Ron's don't.
No, can't talk. Because the biggest thing about it was him and his name. Not that even if your name is written on it anywhere, not that it.
Yeah, she never would have known, put it together, because she never would have known my name. See, because my name, I was born with one name, but I ended up with another.
It's another name. Okay, I was going to ask you what your names were changed. Okay. Ed, God is good. He's given you a beautiful life, and he's gave you a spectacular talent. And I'm just honored to call myself your friend and be able for you to acknowledge me and come on this show, because I want to share our history so that our children can see that we can come up, like they say, the phoenix can always rise.
Oh, it's going to rise. That's right.
The phoenix is supposed to rise. Our children need to know that they come from something. This Louisville, Kentucky.
They come from kings and queens.
Kings and queens. I tell people all the time, I said, we didn't think we were going on a cruise to Sandals when they brought us over on those ships. We didn't think we was getting ready to go on an excursion. Somebody takes our whole heritage in our life and tries to mold it into what they wanted it to be. But we came up from that.
Now, let me tell you this now, one more thing. Have you been to visit Roots 101 Museum, Lamont College?
Not since they moved.
Okay, well, please make that your next show.
Okay.
That's
my next show. I've interviewed him once, but now I have to interview him since he's moved.
Yeah, you gotta take it to the museum.
Okay.
Take it to
I will. I'm gonna take it to the museum.
Take it to the museum. Okay.
Give Bernadette my love.
Certainly will.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Keep singing them beautiful songs. All
yes,
right.
Sir.
We love you. All right.
Appreciate Au revoir, monsieur.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Take care, sweetie. All right. Ed Hamilton, sculptor extraordinaire, a Louisvillian, the heart of our city. He gives us the creative spirit. Muhammad Ali gave us that we can be the best that we can be. Ed tells us that we can use our inner love for mankind to create something beautiful. And look who we got. We got Ed Hamilton on his picture on the side of the Works building. It says Ed's Louisville. But today I said that Louisville belonged to Ed, or Ed belonged to us. Either way you want to put it. We got Ed Hamilton. I want to thank him. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I'm just excited. That was energizing. You know, I've got some pieces that I'm going to drop in here and there. And now was probably a place that I would do that. The Civil War Museum up in DC that Ed sculpted. I'm going to show you pictures of that now. And because it has my two uncles, Washington Heron and, I don't forget the other name, so I'm going to fix that. But their names are on the wall that surrounds, it's on the outside of that memorial in Washington, D.C., that I was able to see that. My mother was able to see that because those were her uncles from Mississippi that fought in the Civil War. And to be able to go find their names on that wall was a mission that we had a family reunion there. I think it might have been maybe in 2000. We had a family reunion in DC, and it was my one of my goals to go to the monument. So I took my mother and some of my other relatives. We went and spent the day and took pictures, and were just reveling in how our family's legacy was a part of the making of this country, you know, because they fought in they fought in the Civil War. And so you're going to see that in just a minute. So coming back from that, that's why I'm excited. Today was a wonderful day. Great show. I was excited. I did my little French thing with my mother's Picasso scarf that I gave her. My French beret, as close to my chapeau as possible. And it's about dinner time. So guess who's coming to dinner? I'll see you on Friday. Au revoir.